God bless this food. Grandma already started. Bless the cook that prepared it. Help it be nutritious for our bodies. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank y'all so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming by.
Yes, dear old
Spend the
dad.
time.
You're welcome, Daddy.
I ain't sure that. Is this chicken on my plate?
That's piece of the salmon. You had broke off a little bit.
Oh, come.
I love me some broccoli. Don't ketchup.
You don't want no barbecue sauce? You didn't get no chicken.
Boy, what do you got?
Hot dog.
All them little chicken strip things I made you, all you got is hot dogs. Okay.
I'll eat them later.
No, I'm just talking junk.
Can you hear me? Oh. Yo, can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me?
I had my mic muted, bro. I mean, I knew it was muted, but I had it muted for a reason, though. Give me 1 second.
Gotcha.
Yo. What up, what up, what up, what up?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, that's dope. It hit my beer.
Say what?
I got a beer, man. The back screen hit my beer.
Is my the audio sound okay?
Yeah, you good.
All right.
All right, so one of the things we gotta make sure if you do jump in on if you do jump in on what is it? If you do check out the YouTube or whatever, just make sure the YouTube page is muted.
Oh, bet.
All right.
How many people we waiting on, Quest?
Man, really whoever show up, man. I sent out a couple. You know how people be, man. It is Father's Day, so some people probably committed to doing it before they actually understood it was Father's Day.
Bet. Well, since here, I just wanted to say, I really appreciate the opportunity. I never really was able to give you your flowers face to face. This is face to face in COVID.
Word.
So, I really appreciate what you do. Not only on this podcast, but for the culture and just for Detroit in general. So, I really appreciate you, man.
Word, man. Appreciate it. So, man, I really appreciate those kind words, bro. So can you see everybody on the call? Can you see Tommy?
I can. Tommy, what's going on, man? Ron.
What's going on, Ron, man? How you doing, sir? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good.
All right. So one of the things we're gonna do once we get rolling, we'll go around, we'll introduce ourselves, all that good stuff. We'll talk about just a few things or whatever. We live now though. So if y'all can take that that link that I sent y'all.
Yeah.
And that picture, if you can post it on your own, because sometimes when you screen share, especially people that do a lot of promoting, Facebook kind of like block that shit, or because they want you to spend money on ads or whatever. So take that time if you can, just hop on, pass the flyer around.
You talking about the flyer that you sent out, correct?
Yep.
Got it.
Rennie.
What up, though? You all right?
Oh yeah, you sideways, bro.
Oh, that's one of those type joints.
Nah, do you got your camera locked? Because sometimes if you got your camera locked so it don't turn the phone.
No, it's not locked.
Oh. Yeah, everybody else had, I don't know. I had mine sideways the other day at work. I remember on IG, yours did the same thing, man. Maybe your phone just stubborn. Remember I was like, you got taco neck?
Did it fix it this time?
No, you good now?
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe because I started it with my phone sideways.
Okay.
Who knows?
So everybody in here, man, this is my man Beans. I call him Rennie. So it depends where y'all want.
How you doing, B? Ron.
What's going on? You all right?
Yes, sir.
How do I see everybody? This is my first time zooming.
Oh, okay, bet. So it's a few different gallery views you could go to. One where you can see everybody at once.
Yeah, I got it now.
Now, are you by your computer? Do your computer got a camera?
No, all that stuff is
Okay,
at the studio. I'm at home on my phone.
Bet. So it's
I can see everybody now though.
Okay, bet. So yeah, we're live right now. It's telling everybody, number one, thank you for making the flyer design. Anybody on here that ever need like design work, really anything, because
Right.
you go by the Renaissance man. That's how I met him. His name was the Renaissance Man because he literally did everything. He hosted open mics, he threw parties, he did the flyers for the parties, he made the beats for the rappers, he wrote the hooks for the singers, he cut their hair before they had.
I just cut somebody here. Just to say, yeah, I still got it.
Yeah, if you got a family member that needs some shit done or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Care of at the crib, he got his own business where he come out and do handiwork for people.
Oh man,
take care of him, man. He really is a Renaissance man, and he know how to load a Rec 7 in you know how to dismember a Rec 7 in under 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
So, hey, what's going on, Dean, man? I'm Tommy, man. I'm one of the Quest partners.
Y'all met before. Yo, so listen.
Yeah, you look familiar.
Oh, yo, go ahead. Yeah.
Listen,
right.
Rennie. So, man, we're, and don't mind me, I'm walking around trying to get all my shit. So Tommy's my business partner. He run BBG with me.
Okay.
And, he had met somebody, like he'll meet people, talk me up, talk about what we're doing, set up meetings or whatever. Like, yeah, man, I saw your man, man. Dean Beans, man, or Renaissance Rennie, or whatever I was calling. He just called you what I called you.
He called
Right.
Dean
Yeah, man. He
Beans.
said
That's
he
what
want to
said.
have a meeting. He want to meet up, and I'm just in my mind like, you know, Tommy, you one of my best friends in the world, bro.
Yeah.
But Rennie don't know you,
Right.
so he's just, I know Ren. He's not gonna set up no meeting with me through a nigga he don't know.
Nah, I just called you.
Right. And he would have called to check who you was out. He'd have called
Yeah.
me. Yo, man, you got a partner named Tommy? And I'm like,
I've actually called you and checked up on somebody before. You're right.
and I'd have been like, yeah, I do, man. And he'd have been like, all right, man, he want to set up a meeting, man. I'm good with, you know, he wouldn't have shunned you, but he definitely would have hit me up to, you know, because it's like if somebody hit me up and try to set up a meeting with Rent with like, what? Okay.
Right.
Like, but so anyway, the whole time we going, man, because he's like, yeah, man, he do design and he talking about he got sponsors and he running a radio station and da. He got a studio, and I'm like, man, all this sounds like you. He like, man, he got a great beard, man, bald head. Yeah, this your man. I'm like, yo, you are definitely describing my homie. Dog. We get to this meeting.
10 Mile it's on 10 Mile.
Man,
Yeah,
listen to
wow.
me, bro. I don't know who. Like, I knew who he was, but I didn't know he knew who I was, or whatever. And we were familiar, but it wasn't you, obviously.
Okay. Right.
So I couldn't tell him that the whole meeting because we all in the meeting. So we just in the meeting because you know how since you know we're quote unquote popular where we're from on our scene. And fuck being modest, man. People know who we are. So
right.
So it's like, yeah, I know Quest, man. I've been knowing Quest since that. So when he said it was you, I'm like, all right, yeah. I guess so. And we got that meeting was like an hour, dog. And
yeah.
Man. So yeah, man. So look, we just gonna get it going. Let me see something, cause something I got it set up right now to where it's grabbing the there we go. Got all of us on the screen. Now let me see.
Hold on. My daughter just texted me. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, you all good. So yeah, I'm just setting up. So Ryan, man, how you been, brother?
Man, we're doing really well, man. Everything is good. Father's Day is good. So just to let you know, I'm actively being father right now. I got 3 kids in the background. So if I run away, it's probably to set off put out a fire or something like that. So,
Word.
But no, I appreciate it. Everything is good, man. You know, it's a weekend, so back to work tomorrow. And, you know.
Word. So I'm just setting up to make sure we are broadcasting on a good stream right now.
How you put the backgrounds on here?
So click
Yeah, that's ill.
See, I'm doing it on the computer, but it's something like on the phone too. You could click like change background. Click like near your video or something, or in your settings or something, you could change your background. I got a few too. I get it in out here, baby. Hold on.
Okay, more virtual background. Booyah.
And whatever you got on your phone, like, you know, I got Beanie Siegel over my shoulder.
Go ahead.
You feel me?
Okay, gotcha. Access to
camera back here, getting busy. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Hey, Rennie, here you go. What you know about that?
Hold on, I can't see you. Hold on one second.
Go ahead. Yeah, screen orange.
I seem to be in a folder that got a bunch of
Go ahead, go play something.
shit.
This is the Dadcast, man. If the kids
man.
run through here, man, let them run through, baby. You might not want them on camera. I can understand that, but man, they want to run through, man. This is the Dadcast, man. It's
I know you guys may not know me, but I have 3. I got 2 boys and a girl. I got an 8-year-old boy, a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. So they gonna run through here.
Right.
The 6-year-old has autism, so I'm sure he's going to be running all the way in here. But I'm trying to do the best I can to try to keep the noise level down.
Oh shit. Oops. Okay, now I get back to y'all. Okay. There we go. Boom. All right.
Go in there. Right on.
All right, let me see. I gotta get down here with my other computer. Oh, my homie do dirt in this thing. Hold on. Ah, man, he just tried to get in.
What is my head on fire? I'm hot-headed.
Yeah.
Bars. Oh, okay. Camera just wasn't close enough.
Yo, if everybody on here, if y'all can share this with your group. Don't share the password because we don't want just my uncle popping up.
Right. Hold on, let me share this real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, you're like, why does nigga keep going sideways?
And we
Here go the link. Boom.
I got to get this set up where I ain't got to admit people into the group because I definitely forget. Allow participants. I think people could just get in now if they got the hookup.
You got the link.
Yeah, because before I had to let them in.
I was about to pile in now.
Okay, boom, boom, paste, post. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wish my head would stop being on fire, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, I don't know what's doing it. Hold on.
Oh, you might have it on green screen.
Oh, that's what's doing it?
Yeah, take it off green screen. Unless you got a green screen.
I really should have played with this damn app before I started. Using the motherfucker.
Yo, real talk, man. We could do this, once every other week or once a month or something like that.
That'd be dope.
Because I think, today Father's Day, so it's what it is. But man, I think it's real dope to have active fathers, man, just having conversation.
Word.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah, man. Everybody, with the exception of Ron, I've had some very, very, very deep fatherly conversations with in one way, shape, or form, man. And I think that our experiences can really, really, really help each other.
Word.
I think that oftentimes, man, we don't really talk as much as we should. We can. And we all got something in common, man. We are fathers.
Yeah.
So, with a capital F, please say the father. So, yeah.
You're right.
So what do
bro.
y'all think about the stigma that Black men are absent in a household?
I would say this. I would say it depends on, the situation. Everybody doesn't have a situation, but the majority, unfortunately, there's a lot of children that don't have it. And there's a lot of our friends that grew up that didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that stigma out there, they're always gonna focus on the bad. I would say I know a lot of brothers and that are in their kids' lives that are not, what I'm saying, that aren't, absentee fathers.
Mhm.
Hell, it's 4 of us up here now, right?
Right.
That's in the call now that are absentee fathers. I would say we got, I believe the focus is getting better, the awareness is getting better for us to be, more visible with our children. And I think with social media, the presence is showing stronger. Now, there are some that are slipping through the cracks though.
Yeah.
And then you have those situations where you kind of, whether your kids have friends that don't have their dads in their lives, you try to, bring it in and try to be that figure, so, as best as you can.
Mhm.
I think it's getting better than what it was as
So
far as the stigma.
I kind of think the stigma is a false narrative.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I don't, growing up, how we grew up, I grew up in the 80s, and of course I didn't have no father, and I'm sure a lot of other people didn't have any father, but we are breaking that generational curse.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody I know is an active father. I believe that narrative is a false narrative, especially in 2020. I mean, there are exceptions, but those are the exceptions. The fathers that are not active is the exception. The active fathers are not the exception anymore.
Is the norm.
That is correct, but that's not what society is still portraying. I mean, but the truth of the matter is, we hear every day.
I look at the absent father narrative the same as black on black crime. It's crime everywhere. You know what I'm saying? If a white person does a crime to a white person, they don't give it a title. You see what I'm saying? There are absent white dads. There are absent dads in all races, but for whatever reason, they put that on black men.
Well, the reason is they want to portray you as animals.
Exactly. And
it's simple.
And then you kind of got to add, like, okay, in the late 70s and 80s, it wasn't a bunch, it was a problem with black dads not being around. And they only just say that it's a problem. They don't say why. Well, that's around the time where the government was pushing crack into the neighborhoods, and people who didn't know how bad it was smoking that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like sabotage and then shame on you.
So I cannot speak on the African American experience in America. I'm not African American. I understand I'm much more privileged in my experience in America than you gentlemen are. So I can't really speak on a lot of the experiences that you gentlemen have experienced. But I just wanted to preface that. I mean, I don't want to get into that, but I don't have the same experiences that you are. I mean, I'm from the hood too, but at the same time, I can put on a suit and tie, but y'all can't take off y'all skin. Like,
yeah, honestly, I didn't know what race you were.
So that's real dope. Just on the sense of saying, like, yo, I may not be able to actually identify with it from experience, but that don't mean I don't recognize it. And that's important. And I know when we talk about the Black community or any community, I know, like with you, Ryan, you were saying, like, yo, I grew up, my dad wasn't there, and we broke that cycle. I know my man Tommy, and I want to go around so everybody can give their backstory, talk about their upbringing, talk about their household, and we could definitely, I want to compare and contrast and talk about that, because I said the same thing. I actually just worked on a song talking about how the beginning of the second verse is like, there wasn't no fathers in our neighborhood, but we all stand up fathers, so I say we good, like my whole crew. I'm actually waiting on one to to get in the session with us. But continue. I'm sorry.
Who was talking?
Ron.
No, so that was basically my one thing I just wanted to preface on the conversation. And, you know, I really appreciate this because I do have mixed children, and I have not had the conversations that you gentlemen unfortunately may have had to grow up with, where, you know, as 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old young men, y'all parents had to say, look, the police are a certain way. You know, I never had that conversation, you know. So I can learn from you guys on how to discuss that with my boys, because, you know, I'm going to have those difficult conversations that, you know, I really don't even know how to have. And it's,
That's deep. That's deep.
That's pretty heavy.
I mean, but it's heavy for me, but it's something that y'all had to go through for generations. Like, this is something that you've dealt with for generations, and it's still there's nothing has changed. You know, now, you know, companies are pacifying everyone with the whole, you know, Black Lives Matter movement now. But where were they 6 months ago? Where were they a year ago? You know, they're jumping on now, and I get it. But at the end of the day, you know, you gentlemen have lived with this for generations. So I can learn a lot from you. So.
All
right. So let's, before we get too deep, I know we got other people that are going to probably pop in as we continue, and everybody can hear me good, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool. I'm about to switch my mic real quick. Just let me know. Y'all can still hear me, right?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Way better.
Okay, bet. I got the blue going, man. I'm working on my skills, baby.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah, you know. So starting with Tommy, and we'll go Tommy, Ryan. We got some of your best story, but I still want to talk about even more. So we'll start with Tommy, go around, whoever want to jump in. Just kick it with us about your upbringing, your family dynamic coming up, and you know how many kids you got, things like that, whatever you want to share, just as an introduction, so we can have a base to kind of have that conversation.
No problem, man. Well, number one, I grew up on the east side of Detroit, 7 Mile, Gable Street.
I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you, but I'm proud. I'm proud you made it.
Yeah, man. I get that introduction all the time. Like, you from the east side? What? No, I don't believe it.
I ain't trust you when I first met you.
I know.
East side. If I'd have knew you was from the east side when I met you, though, we wouldn't be friends still. No, I'm kidding, man. I was born and raised on the east side.
East side got the best Kool-Aid, man.
I grew up on Mac and McClellan, Hardin, and Shoemaker, man. I just moved west when I was in the 4th grade, so I just give my homies a hard time. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's cool, man. It's cool. I grew up with both parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, father was there, mother was there, had an older sister look out for me. As I was growing up, I realized though, like, you know, everybody grew up on the same block, you got all your friends, kids hang out, but I was the only one that had both parents. Like, out of all my friends, it was their mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or their mom's second husband or boyfriend or whatever the case is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even growing up, you know, I was Tommy Taylor, right? You see my name, that was my nickname. My dad, we used to yell my name, Tommy Taylor, and everybody just called me by full name. I didn't have you know what I'm saying? I'd have a nickname, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was my nickname when I got yelled at down the street or whatever. And then my dad, to his credit, man, he tried his best to ingratiate himself to help out my friends and give them advice and all that when he recognized they didn't have anybody. And it took me to get older to actually see that, like, reflect back how you grow up and all. They be like, damn, like, I was the only one that didn't have my folks, that had my folks, out of my best friends that I grew up with and everything. It's just crazy when you see it come, you know, full circle, just the experience you have and how you grew up, man, and just how it can definitely change people's direction, right? I'm firsthand saying, you know, I was expected to go to college, right?
Mhm.
Being 100 with you, you know, my family, you know, growing on the east side, man, my parents had high incomes, right?
Mhm.
Even the dudes dealing down the block, I would go down there and be like, nah, nigga, no, go back. We don't want Mr. Taylor coming down here, right?
Word.
I have an older sister, you know, she was 11 years older than me. So she was almost like a third parent. And they knew her. They was like, no, Teresa, no, you're not part of that. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. So even if I would try to do some shit, couldn't do anything, you know, growing up, whatever. So just that's part of it. And then just seeing where, like I said, I was expected to go off to college. I was expected to do this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was expected to bring home a white girl. You get what I'm saying? Just real talk. This is people like, hey man, don't bring on a white girl. You know, just the stigma.
Just the joke. Yeah, that was
this is
the
a joke.
Yeah.
That was a joke. I'm like, all right, right on. Like, I
Like,
wasn't sure.
okay.
I wasn't sure. All right, thanks for that. You know what I mean? But it was when I went off to school, and then I would go back and come home and visit. I went down to school in Indiana, and I would come back to visit, go to old block and everything, and just see there was a difference. You don't notice it when you're a kid. You don't notice it when you're, you know, a teenager coming up at that time. Like kids nowadays are more, the peripherals are open. Yeah. The peripherals are open. They pay attention to more. They have more, you know, more information than what it was when coming up in the late 80s and in the 90s. And when I got back, man, it was just, you know, a lot of my guys were doing the same shit, posted up, you know, just at that point trying to survive, you know. And I just felt like it was my duty to try to do something, you know. It's almost like, I don't want to say survivor's guilt, but when you know that you're in a good situation and you just want people to be in that situation and be better, you know what I'm saying, be with you and have that opportunity, you try to, yeah, man, like it's you just don't know. Like I was always the one driving everybody around, man. I got my car, I got all that, you know what I'm saying? But I did what I thought I was supposed to do right, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, man, I have a daughter. I came back here, man, from going to school. I met Quest at Verizon of all places.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Working. Crazy, man. Didn't think we, you know, talked to him. I had an internet radio station that we ran with dude from out from school, man. And that's how me and him, Quest started linking up. And then, man, I have a daughter. I have a 7-year-old daughter. And she has a brother who's 18. He's about to be 19 from her mom's side. And he doesn't know his dad. Never met him. When I was with his mother, you know, I did everything I could to just be that role model in his life to show him, hey, this is how a man treats a woman. This is how a man's supposed to be. A man's supposed to take care of his family. You're supposed to, you know, look someone in the eye when you're talking to them so they know you're not on no bullshit, right? And even to this day, I'm still dealing, you know, in his life. You know what I'm saying? Me and his mom not together. I have a fiance now. I still got my little girl. And I still do my best to try to, you know, make sure I got him, man, and just make sure he knows I got his back and, you know, someone's in his corner.
Word. How do you, when you, like, for the people watching this dealing with that, because it's very hard to be a stepfather or to be a father figure, or what have you. It makes it a little more difficult when you're like a father figure in a relationship, and then a relationship don't necessarily work out.
It helped out. It helped out because even though me and his mom did not work out, she understood the role I played in his life. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't try to block that that relationship that he and I have.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta run and grab my door. Y'all keep it going. I know y'all's story, so by the time I get back, we'll be rolling.
Yeah, no doubt.
Word.
But yeah, it's hard to try to decipher a lot of this stuff to your kids, man.
Yeah, so you mentioned something that kind of stuck out to me. You said something I believe you said like success guilt or something like that.
Survivor's guilt in a way, right? Yeah, survivor's guilt in a way where, you know, like say, and I'm gonna compare it to, you know, someone getting in an accident and then one person survived, whatever the case is, and you're like, why am I here, right? The guilt part I have is just being fortunate, even though I'm Black in America, even though I can have my, like you said, have a suit on, man, and you know, button ups and whatever the case is, and speak a certain way, and you know, have a different vernacular. We're all still looked at the same way, and I still feel this way. I feel a little guilty from being privileged to have a support system that a lot of my friends didn't have.
Wow.
So
you know?
there is something also, the reason that kind of stuck up in my ears is because there is also something like successful or success guilt.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been able to change my circumstances myself, and it's something that I've struggled with. And you know, I think the first 5 years of it, you know, you're always trying to compensate and go back and trying to give, not only just financially, but you know, the knowledge that you have attained, and so that's a real thing, and it's something that I'm trying to kind of iron out now. You know, it's something that we can consistent. I mean, it's a good thing to have, right? I mean, we're blessed to be able to have that, but at the same time, it's something that we can work through. So appreciate you bringing that up.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Sorry about that. My son just called me.
Yeah, man. It's gonna happen.
Look, my kids, they're like, it's funny I call them kids, they grown as fuck. But they're like, on the day that you're supposed to call and say something, it's always in the late hour. Always in the late hour. Jesus, where do I start? Let me just stay on the subject of dad stuff.
There you go. The beginning.
So I'm from 6 Mile in Illinois, University District. Born in the 70s. When I was little, everybody had both parents, unless somebody passed. All the neighbors knew each other. All my neighbors was either business owners, sports figures, national musicians, like Motown artists, politicians stayed in my neighborhood. And then there was us. My dad and my mom was both bikers, and my dad played the bass. He used to fill in for rehearsals when George Clinton and them came to town. When I was about 5 or 6, he was riding his bike home, and me and my older brother wasn't supposed to be outside. When we was outside playing baseball, we heard his bike coming down the street, and we heard a big old boom. And when we heard the boom, I looked, and I could see like a body in the air.
Wow.
Down the street. So he had hit a car that ran a stop sign. And when I went down there, I saw what I thought was him passing, but he went out, and he ended up being a vegetable. So he died a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward a little bit, it went to this super nice neighborhood to, like I said, crack swept the neighborhood, and it turned into the hood. You dig what I'm saying? Like I literally seen a nice neighborhood wither away growing up. And then all of my friends who was nice kids, they all turned into, not all, but the mass majority wanted to be gangster, wanted to sell drugs, wanted to do that, this, that, and the third. So my neighborhood literally turned into some bullshit, right? And while all that was going on, I was going through like an abusive life. And the thing that popped in my head is like, none of this stuff would have happened to me if my dad was alive. So I ended up getting this fathering complex. Like Quest tell you, I'm always trying to teach somebody something, trying to put somebody up on something because I just can't help it, because I feel like it's not that my dad didn't step up, he just couldn't. So I feel like I have to overstep up. You dig what I'm saying? So I ended up when I was 10, my younger brother was born, and I pretty much was raising him. I ain't gonna say why, but I was pretty much raising my little brother. And then by the time I turned 15, my best friend was bringing her nephew around, this newborn nephew. And I just started looking after him because, like I said, I got this thing that I just can't stop. Well, that kid is my oldest son now. I ended up marrying his mom.
Wow.
You know, and even though me and the mom split up literally like 20 years ago, I stayed there. We had 2 more children. And I'm trying not to take too much time. Like, the one thing that I see consistently is not that dads aren't stepping up, is that they're not being taught how to do stuff. I know a lot of guys that's in their kids' lives, but they don't.
We didn't have that example.
Yeah, they're not being taught. And so I end up, I mean, through mentoring, I got a shit ton of kids, you know. From my kids' friends, I got a shit ton of kids because for whatever reason, people hit this threshold and they forget that they was a kid.
Yeah.
They forget how they used to think. They forget all of that stuff. And now when they kid talk, it's, I don't understand what you're saying, and they just shut them down. And these kids ain't having that shit these days. So, you know, I end up fathering tons of people, you know, and I like what you said. One of y'all said something about when you make it out of the fucked up scenarios and you start trying to give back and give back and give back. I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You know, you can take any kind of flower. Once it grow up and it blossoms, it drops seeds. And if we just get out of our situations and just be like, well, I'm straight, then you ain't helping. You ain't helping out. You know. So I from what I remember, when my neighborhood was nice, I had so many dads that when my dad passed, you know what I'm saying, I was still, you know, wasn't the same, but I had Mr. Henderson who paid for my tux and gave me some money to go to a prom. You know what I'm saying? I had Mr. Lloyd across the street that be like, you better stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Chambers down the street. I had all the, and everybody knew each other's name. I think that's one of the big issues. Like, it's not, what am I trying to say? It's not a team of dads, it's not a team of people.
There's a lack of community.
Yeah. Like, what's your neighbor's name? I don't know. At my apartment, my neighbor, I call him neighbor guy because I don't know his name.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'm just real big. Like, fathering means something huge to me, regardless of all of the blows that may happen. We'll probably talk about that shit later. But regardless of all the stuff that happens, you still have a mission.
Yeah, that to be honest with you, that was my number one goal in life, just to be the very best father I could possibly be, period. Nothing else matters unless my children are safe, clean, healthy. You know, they have food, they're taken care of. That's it. Success. To me, that's success. That's success to me. You know, thank God, you know, finances come in, but at the end of the day, you know, being the very best father that I can be is my number one goal right now.
How do you when how do you, you know, I had a conversation with a friend a while back, really, and we talked about the differences in between him growing up with a step pop versus other people, and like he remembered like having a step pop that wasn't really interested in him. He's interested in his mama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what were some of the, and Tommy, you could jump in on this too. I'm sure you had some input too. What were some of the obstacles in the beginning? Because y'all were able to form a relationship that's lasted. Like Tommy, I remember
Yes.
from the beginning. And Rennie, you know, I met your son before I knew he was your son. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like he's the for those that don't know, like I said, Ren do everything. He also is an artist, and his hype man at one point in time was his son or whatever. And
Yeah. We used to
I was
rock.
like, it was like you didn't even know. Like you just thought he was just a guy, an artist he was working with, or what have you. What were some of the obstacles in the beginning with breaking the barrier, making them feel more comfortable? Like what were some of the techniques or some of the things that you saw work, as well as what happened in moments where, you know, it didn't work? And what did you do to kind of get back on point?
I
You want to
mean,
go first?
I got you. For me, it was still trying to keep that communication, right? I had to first earn his trust in the beginning. I'm talking about my daughter's brother. I had to earn his trust in the beginning to let him know I'm not here just to, you know, mess your moms and then dip. You know, we were building at the time, right? And then it didn't work out. And when him and his mom and I broke up, and I had a daughter with his mother, right? That whole part, you know, the little baby calling me daddy, you know what I'm saying? And he doesn't know his dad, right?
Right.
And just trying to still give him that reassurance of like, hey man, like, I got you. I got you. I got you. And just trying to put that effort in, and just like I had to schedule like in my calendar to just make sure I check up. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Just I'll plug it in my calendar because you know you get busy, and you know just like with friends and colleagues, man, you get busy. You're supposed to link up and everything, and it was just I had to try to put an effort there to stay in contact with them. You know, the difficult parts was when his mom and I broke up, and he was just kind of sort of left in the wind of that part. But I said to her credit, she didn't shut me out of his life. She could have, you know what I'm saying? She could have. But I had to re-earn his trust all over again after him and his mom and I broke up. And then I got a fiance, you know what I'm saying? And that whole situation, and my daughter going back when she goes to visit, you know how kids do, man. Like they're talking up and daddy, and this is going on. And I can just only think like in his head, like, man, he left me. That's all I kept thinking in my head. He never said it. You know, he never said it. He never showed me anger, but I just think, hey, he thinks I left him. Right. So I have to keep going and keep going. He's 18 now. You know, when he graduated high school, I was like, and I was standing there with him, man. I was so happy and proud of him. And it took so much energy, and I would do it 10 times over to do it, to like just keep him like, yo, I got you. You get in trouble, you call me. You need something, you call me. You know? Like you just gotta put the effort, man. And I didn't have a problem with trying to link up and do it. It was just my own, insecurity of him thinking that I left him to the side. And I had to fight through that. I had to fight through my own demons to get through that part, to make sure I'm there for him and linking up with him and having conversations that I know he's not gonna have with his mom, right? And just making sure he understands that there's a man here that will have his back until my last breath. Real talk, that's my son. I tell everybody it's my son.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? No blood relation. Man, I remember we were out one day. At this time, he was maybe 13, and you know, people will assume because we're black, right? That's my kid, even though we don't look anything alike. And he had said something to me because the lady said, "That's your son?" I was like, "Yeah, it's my son." And he was like, "Man, you keep calling me your son, but I don't look like you." This is a 13-year-old telling me this at the time, right? And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if we're blood. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be here. Whether we go, you know, whether, you know, this before him and his mom, we all broke up or whatever, but I'm gonna be here. And that's just part of that was just, you know, just making sure that I'm letting him know that I'm there, that I'm there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm there.
You kept
Establishing
your word.
self-confidence.
Yeah, you kept your word.
Yeah. And he's doing his music thing now, man. And he's dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Sweet.
He's dope, man. He's
In regards to
he's-
stepchildren, establishing that self-confidence for that child is very important. I was on the flip side. My mother got married and I was the stepson.
Mm.
And unfortunately I didn't have the same type of relationship that it sounds like you have. I was more so of the actual stepchild.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is, you know.
Word. Like, I'm always gonna say this. My life is a movie. Y'all see in a minute. But I was weirdly blessed that when my mom had boyfriends, and I'll say weirdly because it's about to sound crazy.
Yeah.
I was weirdly blessed that when mama had boyfriends, they just automatically tried to assume the father role. And I didn't like that shit. You know, getting a whooping from somebody that I don't know that well, respect, you know what I'm saying? And so once again, if my dad was here, this shit wouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? And why, you know, my dad probably would have respected me more. So once I had a young child that wasn't mine, that stays in my head. So my thing was, I'm not about to try to be his dad. I'm just going to respect him, period.
Yep.
So by the time, okay. So by the time he was three years old, he pulled me to the side. You know, he called me by my name. And I'm like, "What's up?" He was like, "I really want you to be my dad. Can you be my dad?"
Wow.
And I was like,
That's huge.
holy shit. Yeah, sure. I got you. Done. You know what I'm saying? And so I was kind of lucky that I didn't have to go through, number one, he didn't go through the stuff that I went through. And I didn't have to go through the thing that a lot of stepdads have to go through and gain in trust, because I already did, because I was there from day one. I was the only male figure that he knew of, and he knew I wasn't his dad at, you know, even at 3 years old. So when you ask me, that was my rite of passage. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we don't give kids that respect when we jump into another relationship, and we just think, well, this person is here and they grown, we're supposed to respect them like this. Like, nah, bro, you got to earn that slot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Period. You got to earn it. And if you just try to just take it, they ain't never gonna like you, ever.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know? So I was lucky enough to have had a bad situation and learned from it, and was able to apply it differently in a newer situation. And, you know, by the time me and his mom had broke up, man, he done seen me. I remember they was missing for a while, and I ran up into this church and pulled them out of my house and hid them. Mormons. They had hid my kids from me, cleaned the whole house out and everything, because me and the mom was young and we was dumb, and it was just some dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? Not no fighting shit, but just dumb shit. So they thought that they was rescuing them, but they was actually, it was some other shit. So me trying to find them,
They always feel like they're rescuing somebody.
Always. And once again, we talking about an all-white church, a big black man. You see what I'm saying?
Always trying
So-
to rescue something that don't need rescuing.
Yeah, they was going for like,
That's the line in your song. I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's got a song that we use for the flyer that he actually did with his son, and it's a line in your song about running up in the church.
yeah. So they was going for about a month. Couldn't find them. I couldn't find her. I just couldn't, you know, and that just, I ain't one of them that just sit there and eat it. And I rolled past the church that she went through, and I was like, I bet you. And I snapped, real shit. I walked up to the front door, walked in, and I heard them having like Bible class or something, whatever they called it. I just kicked in the door and threatened to kill every damn body if my kids don't turn up. The minister was like, whoa. He came out, pulled me in the hallway, he talked to me, and I was like, I know y'all rules. I might not be a Mormon, but she is, and I know y'all rules. Y'all are supposed to respect the man's house. Y'all came in my house and y'all took my damn family. And I swear to whatever y'all swear to, if my kids don't turn up, this place and y'all is gonna have some problems. And he saw that. He believed me because I was crying when I was saying it. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't give me the location of them, but I ended up finding them. And one thing I can say is when you treat your kids right, nobody can take them from you.
Mm.
Because they badgered her so much that she didn't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? She just didn't have a choice but to bring them back in my life because I was there. You know what I'm saying? They don't want whoever this new dude is. Like I said, you know, this is not to bash her because we was way too young to be talking about starting a family. Like I'm 44 now. My oldest is 29. My youngest is 23. You know, I got 3 grandkids. So that was a long time ago, different mind frames. But as far as the stepdad thing, by the time we divorced, they know me as dad. They know I'm a protector. I done did enough stuff for them to know. So I just didn't have those issues. Now I did have an issue with my youngest, who was actually mine. Because by the time she remarried, he was only like 2 years old. And she took the kids. And so now he's getting used to somebody else and not knowing me as well. So it was white daddy and I was called black daddy. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
White daddy was around all the time. Black daddy was only around when he was coming to visit.
Yeah.
So all of those moments he was getting. And for a while, he ain't have, I ain't gonna say he hated me, but he wasn't too fond of me, you know? And just like a stepdad, I had to earn that slot. You know, I had to sit back, look at the situation and respect the child. Period. My child, not my child. Same respect. And eventually that kid grows up. And like I said, you can't keep a kid from a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Eventually the kid himself, he saw who was the asshole and who was really there. And now me and him is like, it was like he never had a stepdad. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, that's it.
So I
No,
know
that's really intriguing that you say that because, you know, growing up with my mother, she would always give my father a bad light. You know, my father ran away, he did this, he did that. When I actually met him at 15, this man is a great man. Like he was a great dude. And now, you know, I'm almost 40 next week. Just like you said, we're like this. I mean, he's a great guy.
birthday, my G.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person. So I mean, you know, I'm not going to speak on women negatively, but you know, women have some women have ulterior motives, you know, and put their
Hey,
Yeah.
you was about to get toe up.
I know it.
You was about
He
to
caught
get
it.
toe up.
He called himself.
You caught it.
Why are you bringing me back there though?
You was about to get toe up. Hey, listen. He looked at the camera like the woman had look. Every woman that might see this, he saw them like do this.
Yeah.
I mean, but man, let's just keep it funky, man.
Oh,
I mean,
Be mad. Fine. I'll say it. Because it don't just apply to women.
no,
You know what I'm saying?
no, you're right.
You got some people that don't know how to handle their damn anger. And they take it out in the worst ways.
Yes.
You know, you got men that beat on their women. They handling whatever's going on in their head wrong. And then you have the women who will use a child as a pawn to hurt the kid. Does that apply to all women? Hell no. There's a lot of great women out here. But let's call a spade a spade. They out here.
True.
You
So,
know, and
I
don't think
that's true.
Yeah. You know, anytime you sitting here saying something bad about somebody that ain't bad to try and convince a child of that, that's some serious spite.
yeah.
You know, and it happens. It happens.
That's trauma. That's trauma that you're adding to. That they're adding.
Some
that is
dudes
correct.
are
That's a trauma for
terrible.
sure.
It's trauma.
Some guys are terrible counterparts. But that don't mean that they're a terrible dad.
That's right.
Word.
You know, yeah, they need to work on how they treat women. You know what I'm saying? But that does not mean that their child should be without them. I mean, you know, they don't need to be in their kids' life because they niggas crazy. But a lot of times, don't be the case.
Yeah, so I just getting so wrapped up in the conversation. Like for whoever don't know me, I'm Quest. Kimani, whatever you want to call me, look me up. However you want to do it. You're gonna find some shit you don't want to see. I can't hear. Hey, yo, check this. You want to hear something crazy? I got the other screen from YouTube playing on my other screen, right? I got YouTube playing on my other screen. So it's a delay.
It's a crazy delay.
Yeah, but it's like 20 seconds. So I'm just watching to make sure it's still on. So you were still telling your story. So right when I said my name, I'm looking at this screen and I see you going. But I don't hear nothing. So I'm thinking like you trying to tell me, no, I don't say your name or something. Like I'm like, yo, no, say my name, man. So look. So anyway, I got 2 children. I was born on the east side of Detroit. I was raised on the west side. I moved to the west side in like the 4th grade. That's where, you know, I learned everything. Growing up on the east side, I really didn't understand the dynamics of what poverty was. My mother did a very good job of like, one thing she always said, my dad wasn't around. I didn't meet my dad until I was like 16 or 17 years old. And he was never like a consistent figure in my life growing up. One thing my mother would do, she said like, yo, I make enough money to support you, like for you to be, you know, straight in whatever circumstance we were in. So she didn't have more kids because she was like, yo, I'm doing good where I'm at right now. So I didn't know what a crackhead was. I knew crackheads, but my mama just would call them like, she referred to them as like winos or something like.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
So I was naive as to, I was just like, oh man, such and such, man, that's a wino. Like, but a wino was a crackhead. It was just a different word. So when I found out, when I grew up, got older, I understood, oh shit, Miss so-and-so was addicted to something. Damn. I remember walking to the store and seeing them sitting on the kitchen set that we threw out. And I remember her sitting with them. And I was like, man, why is she sitting over there with the winos? She must just got a friend over, like not really understanding that a neighbor that I interacted with every day was suffering from an addiction. I remember walking to school. It would I wasn't putting together. It took me to get older and to get like more experienced, I guess, in the street, to say, oh man, we were walking to school and the older kid that used to walk with us, oh, he used to put weed in the other little boy book bag or crack in the little boy bag. And that's why he was always going in his backpack. That's the only reason he was always going in his backpack. And he would go in his backpack and he'd run over here and he'd go in his backpack and he'd run, and the whole while we walking to school, we just like, yo, he just know everybody. He an older kid. He could probably do what he want. And we're young, man. I'm in first grade. You feel me? Walking to school with so I never really put it together. My mother didn't have those conversations with me. She had, she was on me about more behavioral stuff, like, yo, do what you're supposed to do, sit down, don't make no noise in class. I don't want to have to come up here, stay on your shit. When I moved to the West Side, I ended up having more freedom. When I was on the East Side, I couldn't cross the street. I got to the West Side. I remember my mom saying, oh yeah, you could go on the street. You could throw the ball in the street. Or you could go down the street. Yeah, you could go around the corner. And so as I grew up, my radius of where I could go grew. You feel me? Yeah. So, but the people that I would gravitate towards, because I didn't grow up with a father. Like I didn't, like my granddad was my father. But at 12, I got in a really, really bad car accident that killed my grandmother and my aunt, and my other aunt died later. And oh shit. So I went from living, like staying with my grandmother at night and on the weekends, because my mom went to work at midnight, to now I'm in the 8th grade, fresh out of this car accident. The babysitting situation is totally different now. My grandmother's not there. So where from that point, I would go to my granddad's house, get myself up in the morning. My granddad, he was a taken care of man. He didn't cook. He boiled everything. I got my cousins sitting down here with me. My granddad boiled everything, bro. Chicken, boiled, not broiled, boiled chicken and rice. EOIL. So anyway, so once I got to high school, I was on the West Side all the time because I went to school on the West Side. My mother still worked nights. So from 10 p.m. until 7 a.m., I was trusted to do whatever I was trusted to do. And for the most part, I was cool, but I got into shit. All my friends and my role models were maybe 3 or 4 years older than me, at most. Like the people I followed after and I looked up to were seniors in high school or a year out of high school, because I didn't know any grown men. I didn't know any, there were no men in our neighborhood. Like my homie my homie John, like his dad was the only dad on my block. And his dad wasn't like Tommy dad. His dad to kick it with you, but his dad gonna say, get the hell up off my grass. We ain't really had no, in the next block, Yachty had an uncle, Tommy. He had an Uncle G, Greg. So he would get game and but he was still like, by the time, you know, I was a little older. I was a little older. So I'm running around, ripping and running in the street, following behind niggas that don't know what they do. They are learning, and I'm just learning from their mistakes, but I'm making them with them because I'm fucking with them. I'm just younger. As a teenager, I ended up, I was 18, 19, and I got my girlfriend pregnant. We had just went to prom. I was a year older than her. We went to prom. Some kind of way, I got that same complex. I'm always trying to help. Like I always want to help. I be feeling bad when I be feeling bad when I can't like impact something how I envisioned it. So we end up living together. Any of y'all young people watching this, like, it worked for some people, but all I can say is that learn how to live with yourself before you live with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Period.
Like,
Yeah,
if you don't know how you operate, you'll never know. Like, because when you live with someone else, no matter what, there are things about them that you need to know before you just end up like, you feel me? So put your time in. Don't move in with somebody just to split the bills, because that ain't gonna last, bruh. Because it's gonna come a time when all she gonna have is that light bill for you, bruh, and it's gonna be on you. No.
I would tell my kids, I was like, if you want to lose a friend, the easiest way is to live with them.
Man. Damn.
That's word.
Because your homie will be your homie until you realize that they always leave the toilet seat up and you can ask them not to 10,000 times.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Then I can't stand that motherfucker.
So I had my first kid. His mom and I were together for not long, like a year.
Sorry about that, y'all.
And you said what?
I said sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. So we got together. I had my daughter. My daughter, that was 19 years ago. She just turned 19. Around the time my daughter turned 5, she was about to go into kindergarten. And for whatever reason, my daughter needed to come live with me. And so I got her, and like I've had custody. She's an adult now. She has custody of herself. But I raised her, like, she lived with me and her, from the age 5 to walking her across that stage, graduating. I got a son, he's 13. His mother and I have like a very, like, I got like, in one situation it's kind of stressful. It's not, it wasn't always the best situations. And then I got another situation where co-parenting is like at its best. And so I can tell the difference, and I know where it went. Like, I could be like, oh shit, that's where that started getting, not, it's always the people involved too, because you got different dynamics.
Yep.
But the thing we've always been able to do is make sure the children are able to be around one another. Like, my son has a sister, and I love her like my daughter. She love that's my daughter's little sister. You feel me? She got a, like, she's not my daughter. She has a dad. Her dad is a stand-up dude, real good. We all get along. I pick her up from school sometime, and he picked my son up with her. Like, everybody you know, we don't go hang out and get beers, man, but we all for the kids. You feel me?
Right.
And I found that when I decided, not when I decided, the day I knew, like the second I found out my daughter's mom was pregnant, I was like, yo, I'm about to, like, I wasn't even scared. Like, and I'm a teenager. Like I was like, man, I'm about, like, I ain't know, I was worried, like I wouldn't know what to do, but I knew I was gonna be there. I was like, yo, listen, I know that if I'm fucking up, I'm gonna fuck up every day. like until I'm not fucking up. But I'm gonna be there fucking up. I ain't gonna be somewhere else fucking up. So like, if I don't know how to get you ready for school or change a diaper, I'm gonna be here every day fucking this diaper up until I get it right.
We're gonna
Right.
figure it out.
And having her, it gave me a perspective on life and where I was headed and what I was doing. It humbled me. It gave me something. Like, I was never like a, yo, I don't care about nobody. Like, I've always been a person that cares about people, but I didn't really take the time to give a fuck about the consequence of shit. Like, it was just like, yo, if it happened, when it happened, it wasn't like, yo, I'm ready for it, bring it. No, it was like, yo, I ain't thinking about that shit unless it happened. When my daughter was born, it was like, yo, I don't have that option on anything.
Right.
I don't even have that option with food. I gotta know what we gonna eat. I gotta have this shit planned out. I can't wing it no more.
Right.
And it took me into a place where, bro, it was the best thing. Like, I remember, like, I just like signed the deal and stepped back from that and like just took a pause to figure out how to be a dad, you know. And my advice to anybody listening that go through this, I'm a Black man that got custody of his daughter when she was 5 years old. Go to court, and if you're paying child support, if you want to see your kid more, if you want to be around your kid more, if you feel like your rights are being violated, go to the court. You have rights. You can literally set something up for you to make sure you can see your kid. And if they hitting your pockets crazy, they might be hitting your pockets crazy because you haven't like established parenting time. So your child support, and sorry to go on this run, but your child support is being based on you not being around if you ain't been to court, because you haven't established that you gotta be around. So you could be picking your kid up every other day. If you are paying child support, but you just ain't go down to the court and you just let them take what they was going to take, unless you file a motion to establish parenting time, and that's in Michigan. I don't know about everywhere else. If you file a motion to establish parenting time, one, you may be able to cut some of that bread that they asking you for down by being in your child's life more actively. You still gonna spend the bread, but if you are already getting your kid, man, don't be afraid to go down there. It's not set up for you. They gonna treat you bad. I had custody of my daughter. I went down there and they asked me, they told me I hadn't paid child support in 10 years. I like, I know, motherfucker. Like, I'm like, I know. Like, but you just gotta go down there. And in the words of my man, great lyricist, Fat Father, he say something to the tune of, man, if you gotta going through some shit to see your kids is worth it. If you got an individual in this world you say you'll die for, then you better go through some shit for them too and figure that shit out.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Somebody may disagree.
I think you're right. Because one thing and it's not something that I heard from my kids, just from other people and talking to them about their dad, is that, yeah, it might have been a situation that didn't favor him, but the kids was more so mad that he didn't fight for them.
Mm.
You know, like a lot of times people say, oh man, I do this, that, and the third for my kids or something, and whoop, 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 I'll be like this, that, and the third. But it ain't always got to be so extreme for you to step up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just step up the best you can as often as you can. And a lot of times when guys get in that child support situation, they feel defeated because they know what's about to happen. You know, you pay this or you go to jail. I don't think people be realizing what they putting on somebody. You get pulled over and you owe child support, ain't no bond.
So I disagree with that. I think they do know what they're putting on you, and it's all set up for you to fail.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
You mean, I think you mean the woman doesn't
that's what I'm talking
necessarily
about.
understand.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not saying that some men don't need to be on child support, because some do.
Yeah.
A lot of them do, flat out. But for the ones who don't, I just need I need the women to understand what they putting on that person.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm only talking about specifically about the man that's actually a good dad, but the mom is just taking out her frustrations of the relationship in the ring of child support.
Yeah.
You putting jail time on somebody if he happens to get laid off. He get laid off, well, his tax records are showing that he made X amount of dollars. So he's still gonna owe that bread. And if you don't pay it, he got a warrant. He got warrants, that's gonna do what? It's gonna make it hard for him to work. It's gonna make it hard for him to provide for that child.
Yeah.
It ain't no bond. Once you get locked up for that, you are in there until that bread get paid. A nice portion of it at least.
Right.
It ain't no $100 bond, go to court. No, you just stay there. You know, I had quite a few friends. I was like, damn, man, you just can't get out. You know, what good is that for the child? So for the woman who is thinking of being vindictive, if he's a terrible dad, that child will let him know eventually.
Yeah.
Mm.
I do think that there, when it comes to like financially, I believe that there should be some system, something set in place, just like we have with unemployment. Like, there should be something that can supplement if you are actively, not like, yo, but you got to get back to getting some bread, because you got to be able to do something for your kid in that regard. But if you get fired from your job, men that are watching this, you have to go down to court and you have to file a motion. You got to have a show, I think it's called a show cause hearing, and you'll show that you lost your job. You got to be on that. The second you lose your job, bro, when you filling out them new applications, you need to be filling out whatever you get off your last check, bro. Take that $50 and have a show cause hearing and explain why you can't pay what you're set up to pay. And they will give you an opportunity, that, especially if you've never had a problem or an issue.
Mispayment.
The problem be, sometime we got a warrant on driving while license suspended, and we might not want to slide down there anyway. Yeah, I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Like, but like, you got to get down there, and you have to let it be known what's going on with you. When it comes to the women, like you were saying, if there are women that are being vindictive, just understand that your heart that's what you got to live with. Even if your kid never finds out, you can't trick yourself. Men that are ducking and dodging, I mean, look, man, you know what you ain't gotta like her to be in your kid life. And just in closing to that, I wanted to throw one of these questions out because something you said kind of rang a bell. But I do want to shout out all the uncles and father figures in the neighborhoods and the coaches and the janitors.
Yeah.
Like janitors for real, man. I don't know if y'all like everywhere I done been, it's been a cool, like a cool ass janitor.
Yeah, always. That's crazy.
Yeah. Never was trying to get me in no bullshit. He was like, I learned how to rap. A janitor like had me write a rap, my first rap.
Shout out to Bosco.
So what's your biggest fear? What was your biggest fear as a father? Do you still have it? Starting with we ain't heard nothing from Round in a minute. What up?
Yeah, so my biggest fear is my children going to bed hungry. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is them going into the refrigerator and not seeing any food. My biggest fear is them being unhappy. Those 3-4 different things. Other than that, we're fine. But I don't want them. I don't want them going to bed hungry. I want them to feel secure in the fact that they can go into the refrigerator and get anything that they want that's in there. And I just want them to be happy. Yeah. So, having an autistic son, I was devastated when I first found out. But after a little while, I realized as long as he's happy, he's safe, he's clean, and he has food, some substance, we're good,
Right.
and as long as I can be that right there next to him every step, he'll be fine. And at the end of the day, even if he does not become independent as an adult, that means I'll have a homie with me all my life. So um, but yeah, those are my biggest um, fears about fatherhood.
Okay.
Not growing up with a father. I have another fear of my wife. God forbid, me and my wife were to split up. Not being able to see them every single day, putting them to bed, waking them up. If those are the fears, and I think every man has those fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Or those desires, bro. Like one thing, like I haven't, like I'm not in a relationship with either of my children's mom. Um, so I was lucky that my daughter, I got to raise her because I got to wake up with my kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's such. I recognize the blessing every single day. The fact that me and my wife are together. We have a house. We thank God. And when I say I don't mean myself. Everything is due to God. I don't mean to bring that into it, but it's not on me. It's the blessings that I've received. But with that being said, I've broken the cycle of addiction, single family household. I've broken the cycle of poverty. There's so many other cycles that alcoholism that I've been able to break. And I'm so fortunate to be able to even say that on here because, now my children do not, God willing, do not have to, see the same things that we did. I grew up, much. It sounds like a little differently than the rest of you gentlemen. I grew up in Southgate, so downriver, and the majority of the community around me did have a mother and a father. They were a middle class, lower middle class, even middle class lifestyle. So I knew from a very young age that we were broke, we were poor, we were different. And it was the kids told me that, the kids, everyone knew that we were poor, that I didn't have a father, that my mother was struggling. So there was always that I guess nuance involved. thank God I was able, I did have a grandfather in Los Angeles that was mentored me even over the phone. And, I would spend summers in Los Angeles, come back here to school, go back there to Los Angeles. And, he gave me a foundation of what a man is supposed to act like and how a man is supposed to be. But without that, it was just my mother and a stepfather. But, it's all about recognizing the negative cycles and trying to part ways with them and just be the best man that you possibly can be. Now I say that, but I can't even imagine how difficult it is. Well, I can imagine, but that's not an easy thing to do. Breaking cycles is not an easy thing to do. So for the listeners out there that are struggling with breaking those cycles, don't beat yourself up, because it's the hardest thing you will ever do in your life, is to break the cycles of poverty, break the cycles of addiction, break the cycles of single parent households. Those are very difficult things to do. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't accomplished that yet. Just focus on that goal and keep going.
Yeah.
Tommy?
Yeah, man. Well, just my biggest fear of being a dad is not being here for my kid, right? So we can put all the parameters in place, right? We can have life insurance. We can do this, which is very important. Like life insurance, if you're gonna spend, 20, 30, $100 a week, to go out or whatever, man, spend that 50 to 60 or 70 a month for life insurance. Real talk. Like and then also making sure the money is directed the right way if something were to happen.
Yeah.
Like with me being, my child being in the split home, right? We do one on, one off, right? Every other week. And she is she's getting settled. Just got a new house, man. She's getting settled. And she doesn't want to leave now, right? Because it's a week later, right? But that fear of, in my head, of being a provider, split household. My daughter's over here. I'm over here. I have my future wife here, and bringing everything together, and still being responsible for my daughter over here, right? When she's not with me, I'm still like here. I'm still responsible. Here, I'm still responsible. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if her mom can't, do something, I'm like, yo, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's ingrained in me to take care of everything. My lady's like, don't, she got to do that, but that's a territorial thing. But I feel like I got to take care of everything, man. I put so much pressure on myself because she didn't ask to be here, right? So if I go down, man, like my fear is my daughter not being taken care of in the form of guidance, right? From me. You know what I'm saying? Not financially, because just like with anything, money will come and go. You know what I'm saying? Even though the life insurance is good, if something were to happen, put it aside, build it, whatever the case is, hell, she can blow it when she's 21. You know what I'm saying? Like money come and go. But me not being there and being able to guide her step by step through her path, man, and watching her grow up and being an adult, and even being an adult and going through that process, that's my biggest fear. I can to this day remember when the doctor told me, well, for the ultrasound, and she scanned it, man, and in my head I got a boy coming, right? In my head I got a boy coming, right? Mm-hmm. And she was like, "It's a girl." Man, my whole heart dropped, right? And not saying, "Hey, I don't want a girl," but all right, let's get in the daddy protection mode, because it's your little girl, it's your daughter. You know what I'm saying? I was a little boy once, you know what I'm saying? A young teenager once. Hold on. That was quick. I was a teenager.
Oh, right? That
once.
shit was like it went into a tunnel. Oh,
yeah.
Bro, every time a siren pass here, I sing out the word East Side because I'm a West Sider to live on the East Side now. You be like, "Ooh," I'm like East Side. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You good, bro. You good. Just like I said, just not. Listen, when I said to go, let me back up. When she told me that I had a girl coming, right? My mindset changed instantly. You know what I'm saying? To say, hey, you have a little girl to raise. You have to be that example how she should be treated. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is how a man's supposed to treat you. You know? He's supposed to open the doors. He's supposed to respect you. I have a hard time even having to, do the spanking thing, because I grew up on spankings, right? Whoopings, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
But it's like, man, do I give my little daughter a spanking to let her think that it's okay for a guy to hit her? You get what I'm saying? Like that,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like that part is like,
Man, I ain't never thought of that.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Whoa.
we grew up on spankings, bro. You know what I'm saying? We grew up on spankings. Like that, we're in that range, 70s, 80s, 90s, you know what I'm saying, in an urban area, because a lot of our people are from the South, right? Southern roots, spankings, whoopings. There wasn't no timeouts. There wasn't sitting having a conversation to align with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's, part of that, man. Like, I fear that I'm not going to be there for her, So that's why I try to, keep my health right, try to eat well, work out, you know what I'm saying, stay prayed up, everything, man, and just try to make sure I'm cool, because as a Black man, health is scary. It's scary. We're not even talking about the outside world. You know what I'm saying? We're not even talking about the outside world.
Hey, you just posted that. You just posted a post on Facebook. Maybe when we do the replay, I grab it. I remember Beans, you put it on your Facebook about like, yo, find out about your health. Look up. Like, you just did a post like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because my health is taking a big shit. Damn, man, I'm trying not to overtalk.
Yeah, bro.
But pretty much, my nervous system just took, that bitch just went left. And I couldn't feel my feet, couldn't feel my hands, I couldn't walk. My friends had to carry me up the stairs. This is like a couple months ago. I just couldn't feel a whole lot of stuff. And when I did feel something, it was the most extreme pain I could possibly feel. It's been about 3 months now. So I got like 95% of my hands back, and I say about 85 of my feet. But the pain is still there, but not as bad. And then all of a sudden, my shins just broke out in spots. And them spots just dried out. And now it's like, if I'm on my feet for too long, my legs and my feet swell. So going to the doctor. Only thing they could find wrong was a vitamin B12 deficiency. While that will cause, the hands and feet thing is called neuropathy. While that does cause that, that's not the problem. And we are still trying to find out what's going on. And that's why I tell people, like, your health is, don't be stupid like me. And every time I have gone to a doctor, they check my vital signs and say, oh, you don't have high blood pressure, everything's fine. And you think everything's fine. And then your body does some weird shit, and you don't even know where to start because you never got nothing checked. Now I've gotten two MRIs. I have a dehydrated disc and I have a herniated disc that's pinching the sciatic nerve. For some reason, I'm supposed to have extreme back pain, but I don't have none. And we got another MRI. I just found out that I've been having a bunch of mini strokes.
Damn.
Not getting enough oxygen to my cerebellum. We've checked for lupus, cardiovascular stuff, autoimmune diseases. We can check for so much stuff, and we still ain't found out what's going on. And to be honest with you, I hadn't seriously gone to the doctor since '97 because I just never had any problems, you know? And that's why I had to start putting people up on stuff, because I got the B12 deficiency because of a diet that a doctor gave me. Don't eat no more meat, don't eat no more fish. And then you do that and you're getting rid of essential vitamins. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm telling people, like, be on your health. Even when nothing's wrong, get a serious test. And just make sure everything is all right. When they test your blood, they test for so much shit. Do it. Don't just think you cool because your blood pressure's straight or because you don't feel nothing. Yeah, right. That's it on that. Back to the fears. Y'all go ahead with that part.
Hey man, that's a fear though. You know what I'm saying? That like I said, that's part of it where unfortunately, man, and blessings and prayers for you, brother. If things go wrong, your fears even go more, man. You look at everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like any little thing wrong, oh man, I got a cramp. When you wake up or you stand up and it's like, oh, what's wrong? Let me go get checked out. That fear of not being around for your kid, man, and not being around for your family is that's me. That's like I put so much pressure on my head, man, to try to be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And
we forget about ourselves.
Yeah, man. Like that's my big fear, man.
I think that's a common like not being there is it's like an anxiety. Yep. I know. I spoke with someone I was talking to. A psychiatrist or a shrink, whatever you want to call it, therapist. There you go. Boom. This is maybe like 6 months ago. It was like one of my first little sit downs, meetings and shit. We were talking. And I talked about, people in my past passing or whatever the case is, different things. And she said, I would expect you to have separation anxiety. And wow. I'm like, well, that's when you're afraid somebody's gonna leave you. So you kind of, I'm thinking like in a relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the separation anxiety is just an anxiety about separation. So it's not contingent on someone leaving you. It's just separation. So that's why sometimes people stay in relationships just because they don't want to go through the act of separation. Separation scares them. I have a like that fear is what got me out of just doing just little knucklehead shit. I was afraid, like I got jammed up and thought I was gonna go to jail for just a few years, like shit, two and a half, like mandatory, at least, like nothing crazy, but still, the only thing I thought about was somebody bouncing my daughter on his knee. That's the only thing. Like it wasn't, and I was like, yo, man, nobody is gonna be raising, like bouncing my daughter on the knee. So we got a new guest coming in. Let me go ahead. And this is a good time because he's a funny brother, and I wanted to go into this. Let's see, we got live and direct, Mr. Cliff Note. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the I Said Yo. Dadcast. What's good, man?
What up, dog? Gotta get in from a different device. Can y'all?
Yeah, just leave out, come back.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna get in from a different device.
All right.
Hey, gentlemen, since we're transitioning, I got to get these kids into bed. So
Word.
I really appreciate the conversation. Quest, I really appreciate you utilizing your platform responsibly, not just tonight, but responsibly all the way around. I really
Word.
appreciate what you're doing. Gentlemen, I really appreciate the conversation, and I really do appreciate you allowing me to be on this podcast. So thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Word.
Thanks you, bro.
Man, pleasure
Thanks,
meeting you,
man.
brother.
Hopefully we see you soon, man. I think we had a good rundown, man. We ain't always got to get it serious either. So
Yep.
you're gonna miss this.
know.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all, and talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, what's your tell people where to find you?
I don't want nobody finding me, man.
All right, then, man.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
Yes, sir.
All right, so look. I will start so nobody feels awkward. I want to talk about stupid shit that our kids then did, like something that was just like, oh my God. And I'm talking about like, it can be funny. It doesn't have to be something so I'm gonna start with my daughter. This was a moment in time when I thought that maybe my daughter got a 3.5. She an honor student in a university. So she's a brilliant young lady. Man, when she was like 1 year old, maybe 2 years old, we were at Radio Shack. I worked at a Radio Shack, and I had to bring her to a meeting with me. And you know how they had those RC cars?
Yeah.
Man, she tried to get in the car. So listen. So she was trying to like sit on the car, like ride it or something, right? And I'm like, nah, you can't. And she flipped out. Like, no, I'm getting in this car. Like she didn't say that with words because she's 1 year old. 1 year old. She's a 1 year old, maybe 2. I don't think she was 2. So I relate that now to she's always been strong-minded. She always went to go at what she wanted to do, even when it might not might not make sense to me. Yeah. So back then when I'm looking at it, so anyway, man, she tried to get in this fucking car. Everybody I work with is there, dog. And so I'm like, man, yeah. I'm like, is my baby cool? So that was that. And the one with my son, man, I thought my son wasn't gonna be able to. I thought his legs didn't work. Listen. Man, I thought my son didn't crawl, dog. Like, listen, dog. It was, you know how you be watching, you young man, you watching other people babies do their thing or whatever, and you like, damn, they baby walking. They was a month younger than my son, and my son wasn't crawling. So I'm like, damn, man, is he all right, man? Like, I wonder if his legs. So I'm like moving his legs every day, like working with him, seeing him every morning. I'm pushing him, seeing if he pushing him back, cause he won't crawl, dog. So, dog, he is about to be a year, dog, and he refuses to crawl, dog. Listen to me, dog. He will lift his head up. He won't crawl. He'll scoot, he'll roll, he will stand up on something. He was walking around, like at this point, he was walking around on shit, but he would not crawl, dog. So one day we sitting in the house and I'm trying to get him to walk with Armani, my daughter. And I'm like, come on. And Armani just grabbed some keys and shake them bitches, and he just walk over to her, dog. So now he knows how to walk. Okay. He still ain't crawled, dog. fall, dog. He would fall.
So
And
you
it would
can't
be
tell
the
him.
best.
You can't tell him that you got to crawl before you walk.
Dog, you can't, dog. You can't tell him that, dog. He would not
Oh,
walk,
that's
dog.
crazy.
I mean, he would not crawl.
That's dope, though.
Man. So those my two.
Wow. I got three.
All right.
I'm trying to give you the shortest ones. So first one is my youngest son. So I'm doing hair in a beauty salon, right? So of course there's tons of women there. I happen to have them this particular day. So I'm doing this woman's hair, and then it's a desk right across from me in the chair. He's sitting in the chair. Behind the chair is a mirror. So this chick was in the mirror, you know, messing with her hair and stuff. She was real bow-legged. She was pretty, and she had a big booty, right? So I'm doing the hair, and I hear her say, "Oh my God, get your son." And I look up, I'm like, "What did he do?" She was like, "He just grabbed my booty with both hands."
Yo.
And first off, the fact that she knew with both hands, that she said with both hands was wild.
He grabbed the cup and everything, bro. Nah, I'm
How old
laughing
was
because he was 3 years old and he
Okay.
ain't know no better. You know what I'm saying? So later I was like, "What was you doing?" He was like, "I like the booty, Dad." I'm like, "You can't do that. You can't do that." So that's one.
Okay.
Two, my daughter. Once again, I'm in a salon working, and it was another guy that did hair in there. He was bald headed with one braid.
Who was he,
And
Goro from Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat.
sounds like it, but it was on the side. It was like literally on the side, like bald head, one long ponytail. So, you know, my daughter was real little, and he's like, "Oh, hey, cutie, how you doing?" And she turned around and looked at me, and she was like, "Dad, I don't like him. He's ugly," out loud in front of everybody.
So you got a booty grabber. You got a verbal assaulter.
Yes. And to this day, my son don't be grabbing nobody's ass. He's a fan of ass. And my daughter is not afraid to say shit to nobody.
Man.
Now, number three is the funniest one. We call it the ham incident. So it's Christmas time. I noticed that somebody had been going to the presents and pulling the wrappers off, trying to peek at the presents. So I keep asking who doing it, and everybody's like, "Not me, not me." My youngest was a baby, so of course he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So the two big ones is like, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it." I'm like, somebody did it, right? So I'm mad because I can't find out who it is. And then I go into the refrigerator to make a sandwich, and somebody took the whole pack of ham, picked it up like a sandwich, and bit through that mug and put it back in the refrigerator.
Man.
So look, I'm like a private eye. I'm looking at the size of the teeth marks. I'm gonna figure this out. And my two kids, although they was 3 years apart, they were the same size. So I pulled them in the living room. I'm like, "Who bit the ham?" And both of them like, "Wasn't me." I don't know. I'm like, "Wasn't me." I said, "I tell y'all what, if y'all don't tell me who did it, I'm giving both y'all a whooping." Thinking that one of them would be like, "Okay, I'm not about to get the other one in trouble."
Yeah.
The mother, listen, no snitching was for real, bro. They ain't say nothing. So I was like, "All right, I told y'all what was gonna happen." So I grabbed my daughter, I popped her one time, and I was like, "No, who did it?" I looked at my son, I said, "Who did it?" Now he's like 6 years old with a really light voice. He said, okay, I'm sorry, I confess. I ate the ham, it was so delicious, I couldn't resist it. I just couldn't. I'm sorry. Listen, so he got a whooping, but I laughed my ass off first. Now my daughter, I tell you, she was mad as hell, and to this day, she still side-eye him. She was like 3 years old, bro. She was super pissed, like, bro, you let me get a whooping for what you did, but he said he couldn't resist it, man.
It was so delicious.
It was so delicious. He couldn't resist it.
All right, Tommy.
Yo, man, I'm gonna speak to my son, man, my daughter's brother. This is when Alana was due. My daughter, she was due. Her mom was about to pop, right? She was due in like 10 days. So he was in band, right? He played, I think, the clarinet. And he's cleaning it, right? He's cleaning the clarinet. At this time, he's 11, I want to say, 11 or whatever. He's cleaning the clarinet. And, you know, that's a wood instrument, so you're not supposed to use water, right? His mom asked him, was like, so what are you cleaning that with? He said, I'm cleaning it. You know, he was just going back and forth, like telling him I'm cleaning it. And she's like, are you using water? Like, no, I'm cleaning it. And then she asked him again, just trying to make sure he's not using water, right? The look he gave her, it was like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? That's the look he gave her. He said, I told you I'm cleaning it. Why are you don't ask me like this again. Man, now his mom is about to blow. The look he gave her, bruh, it enraged her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The look
as it should.
Because I saw it in slow motion. I'm like what's happening? 9 months, she leaps to this dude.
Was she vertical? I mean, horizontal?
It was horizontal. Man, I had to do a swim move to get around, to block him, to make sure she don't hit him.
He was about to die.
Dog, because he was smaller. Like, he's a smaller frame kid at the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then that instant, she went into labor. Like, boom. Went into labor, bro. Like, wow. Yeah,
that is her off, made her have a baby.
That, like, I want to say she's supposed to be due the 22nd. So she was 20 days early.
Wait a minute, she leaked while pregnant?
That's what I'm saying. That's like, she was got to get him. And I was like, boom, stop.
You saved his life.
You know what I'm saying?
He owe you everything.
And like, when I tell you, she was like, you calm down. I was like, yo, it's okay. She's like, oh. And look down, I'm like, oh. Made the calls, and I want to say at that point it was 3:45 in the morning, and the next day my daughter was born. Because it was like 7 in the evening when that happened. So she wasn't in labor with her that long, but it was like jump by the choke them up, like, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Like, looking at it like that way, and my baby getting born like right after that, man.
Wow, that's crazy.
That was the funniest and craziest situation, man. And then to my daughter, at this point, she was probably 4 years old. And my folks were watching her. And, she's tall for her age now, right? She's long, she's 4, but she can reach. You know what I'm saying? And they had some powdered donuts all the way on the top shelf, right? So I came home to come pick her up, and she had, some powder right here, right? And I said, Alana, what's that? She said, what, Dad? Nothing. Right? It's like, you got something right here. She was like, oh, I don't know. I think I was playing with chalk. Right? Like, playing with chalk. I was like, okay. I don't know about the donuts at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So my mom come out and she look at her and she said, Alana, what's around your mouth? It's not donuts. And she was like, Grandma, what donuts? There's no donuts. I'm too little. And the fact she said I'm too little. You hear me?
That's like a confession.
She said, I'm too little.
There we go. Can you hear me? I'll pull this out.
You hear me? You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been able to hear you every single time.
Right.
Y'all didn't say anything. I couldn't hear y'all. That was a problem. Because the thing unplugged. The fact she said, I'm too little. I went into the kitchen. I saw the step stool. It was right there. She climbed on the step stool and she climbed up on the counter. Right? And then she opened the cabinets. And they were at least, I'll say 7 feet up. 7 feet up. And you can see the residue, the crumbs from the donuts up there. So I grabbed it. I said, are you sure you didn't eat any donuts? She was like, it may be chalk. So I brought her around. I was like, so what's all this? And then she was like, well, you know, Grandpa had donuts too.
You sure your daughter and my son ain't twins?
What? I'm like, what? So you didn't have to say, yes, I had donuts. So you climbed yourself up there? She's like, yes, I climbed myself up there and I ate the donuts. And I'm so sorry, Daddy. I'm so sorry.
She confessed.
She confessed, but after all the evidence was put in front of her, and
Like,
she
y'all about to throw the book at
He
me.
rolled to the end.
yeah, she was holding strong, man. She was holding strong. And then she was like, she saw what was up. The gig was up, man. The step stool, the crumbs, you know what I'm saying?
That is hilarious.
And I'm like, chalk? Like, I'm still stuck on the chalk thing. Like, so then the apartment's like, you eating chalk? like, what's happening? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question.
What's up?
I got 2 questions. I'm trying to pick which one. Okay, this one. How did you handle your kid's first fight?
So my daughter, she's never had a fight. She's had kids pick on her.
Okay.
Right? She's had that part from it started in preschool and it's just, you know, pick on her. I remember having a conversation. She was in preschool and it was this little boy that she said kept messing with, right? I asked her, I was like, so what is he doing? He's getting in my face, Dad. You know, she's preschool, so she's pre-kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? So
4
it's
years
hard
old.
to say, I don't want you to hit. You know, I don't want you to hit him or fight, you know, because it's pre-kindergarten. So I said, well, Alana, next time he messes with you, just tell him to stop and tell the teacher. Because it's pre-kindergarten, it's pre-K. I'm like, I don't expect this. So the next day I come to pick her up and the teacher pulls me to the side. And she was like, what did you say to Alana? I said, well, because the teacher was aware of what was happening. She spoke to the little boy and the little boy's parents and all that. And I told the teacher what I told her. And she told me that Alana walked around to the little boy. He was on a little tricycle. She put her foot up and stopped him with the tricycle.
like in a cartoon?
Yeah. And stared at him. Like she stared at him like. And I'm like, so what I asked her, so what happened? She was like, the little boy looked at her, Alana stared at him, and she didn't have any other problems after that. That little boy at all.
Hey yo, is this the little boy me and Tommy ran? Well, I ain't run up on, but me and Tommy went up to the school because his daughter, so we had started volunteering at this school in Detroit.
Uh-huh.
And Tommy was so impressed with the school at the time through the volunteering. I got a friend that's a teacher there, and just with the program, his daughter goes there. So now when we volunteer, like you know, I don't told you about it. So we done came up in there with 50 people. You know what I'm saying? So we're in there thick and we're in there deep. So me and Tommy come in there. Tommy got on the ties jacket. I got on a tie jacket, not a suit jacket, but whatever, a tie. So we're leaving from the mentoring session and we're walking. He always go drop in on his daughter. So we go, and Tommy has a talk with a kindergarten child.
First grade. It was first
And y'all
grade.
deep.
And
And y'all deep.
it was just me and him this time. But so listen.
Y'all mobbed
Now-
on a 5-year-old, man.
Now listen. No, listen.
I like
Tommy,
that.
listen. Tommy did the best. Listen to me. I was so proud of him, bruh, because listen, if that boy was my son, I couldn't be mad because all he did was let him know that she had a dad.
Mm.
He didn't say nothing. He didn't like check him. He didn't say what the hell you do to my daughter or nothing. He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh man, and he was like, "Oh man, how you doing? Oh, I'm Alana's dad. Oh yeah, man, nice to meet you." And
And that
you
kid
know,
was
but-
like,
But you know, she's like, my dad's here, my dad's here.
She's
She was
like-
still in the phase of, yo, that's my dad, y'all look. Because you know, we're in the school and we're volunteering. So it's a big deal to kids. Like, yo, that's my
Right.
dad. So I think I say that because I was talking with Fat Father once, and he was telling me how like he worked at the cookie store at his kid's school. And if anything, the boys at the school know, yo, this is her dad. I'm her dad. I be here. I be around. And I think back to growing up and I think about like the girls that I dated like young and just trying to get in or get some or have a situation, and the ones where that situation really wasn't, you know, we were forced to take it very slow. You know what I'm saying? And I say it was the girls with fathers. You know what I'm saying? It was like just, and even when you think about growing up in a space where as a kid that doesn't have a dad in his household, I didn't know how to deal with a dad anyway. You know what I'm saying? So as a father, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, you could like, yeah, I just gotta meet like whoever. If you're gonna have a boyfriend one day, hey, that's cool. You have a boyfriend, I need to meet him. And like while she was in school, it was like, I need to meet whoever you think about to be your boyfriend, just so, and don't be bringing me to meet a whole bunch of people. I ain't about to be meeting 5 people a year, or whatever either. I ain't about to meet a whole bunch of people. Now, you know, in one way, like depending on your kid, that could force them to sneak around and do things, you know, behind your back. And in the same breath and in the same thought, I also want you to just understand that, like, yo, this isn't about actually even me. This is teaching you to give somebody time before you just let them into your life, before you bring somebody to your home. So I hope like she grows up and she, you know, as she matures, when she gets her own place, when she has her own things, when she, even now in college in her dormitory, hopefully, the thought is there. The action, we all make mistakes and do things and come off of the stuff we know, as long as but we always knew, and you know, we knew it was like, oh no, I ain't supposed to do that, but I just did it or whatever. Hopefully, in some situations, I hope that her mindset is just to be patient. and not just in relationships. I think sometimes with men, especially when it comes down to our daughters, we put so much emphasis on
Too much.
Too much, definitely. The relationship, her interaction with the opposite sex.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our daughters, like I've seen, it's always like I put a post up years ago where it was like, yo, stop tripping about your daughter like doing the splits, bruh, man. Maybe she want to be a gymnast, bruh, not a stripper. It's just you go to the strip club all the time. So the only women you see doing the splits are strippers. So we associate things that, and by we, I say I've just seen it. So I'm not speaking for anybody in this group, but we associate at times, we perpetuate, and not just with our daughters, with our sons. We may be worried about, yo, I got into street stuff, or I got into this because of X, Y, and Z. And we, in our route to guide, we're also projecting our flaws coming up,
Yeah,
and into our children.
definitely.
What do I think about that?
Personally, I feel like, oh man, that's a heavy one, man. So I really feel like, number one, treating your sons and daughters differently when it comes to the relationship with them having a relationship with the opposite sex is the easiest way to push your daughter away. Period.
Okay.
You have to treat them the same. So if you high five your son because he got some, you got to high five your daughter too. I don't think you should high five either one of them. Let me say that. But you cannot treat them differently, because the second that you treat people differently, they see that, and that just causes more separation. And as far as what you said, like imposing your life on your kid's life, I really think you should keep in mind what your mind frame was at that time, and realize that your child is probably in that same mind frame. So a lot of times we are too overprotective, especially over our daughters. And we be like, we just put the hammer down, like, no to this, no to that, no to this. I was lucky enough to not have that mind frame. So I just put her up on the game. This is what guys do. This is how they do it. When they say this, it's really that. If they can't wait for this, if they don't really care about this, that, and the third. And then she was able to, because she's a critical thinker, she was able to see it in real time. And then she was able to make a grown-up ass decision on what she wants to do, And I'm not saying it was a totally grown-up decision, but it wasn't so blind like most girls when these little boys come around and act like they love them just to get some, but then they be heartbroken and jaded. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to go through that because she was able to peep game. So yeah, I don't think we should be imposing on. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. My bad.
I just don't think we should be like in this day and age, telling the kid no without a good why is just counterproductive.
Versus saying because I said so, you want to give a reason.
Yeah, I mean, don't even. I would always tell my kids, like, you're gonna do what you want to do. I know you're gonna do what you want to do. However, let me just tell you what happens when people do this, that, and the third. And I would give them all the different scenarios, and I'd be like, it's possible nothing to happen, but it's very possible that boom, 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 boom. So you need to look out for and whatever happens, good or bad, you can talk to me about it. Okay.
Okay.
But if you don't tell me and I find out, I'm a big no.
Man, I don't know. Cliff Note was trying to get back in, man, but for some reason he can't get back in. I don't know. Are y'all able to invite people?
I don't know.
If you can, see if you can, and let me know if you can. I want to read y'all my daughter's Father's Day caption.
I can email it because I'm on the computer, so I can email it. Let me see. Copy link, copy invitation.
You say you about to read the caption?
Yeah, I was waiting on him. Well, text it to me, bro.
Oh, you know what? I'll do it on I'll do it on my phone. I'll do that.
All right, let me get to this caption. All right, so I'm just reading from my phone, man. This is my daughter's Father's Day caption, man. She tried to have me tearing up, and I don't know, my allergies are killing me down here, bro. Happy Father's Day to my hero, my number one supporter, my first love, my everything. I love you so much, and although life wasn't always as great as it is now, you always made sure every moment was special. I learned so much from you. I wouldn't even be the person I am today without you. I appreciate all the free game you gave me to make sure I was ready for life. You also made sure I didn't fall for any BS a boy would tell me. Yes, we've had bad days, maybe even weeks, but you've never failed to show and tell me how much you love me. You also tell me how much I changed your life by just being born, but little do you know, you saved mine before I even knew I needed saving. I owe you everything. I don't know what I would do without you. I love you so much. LOL. I'm not adding you because you love to post embarrassing pictures of me, so hopefully you'll see this. Seeing that, like hearing that, bruh, seeing that, those are the things. Like, I don't need no gift, I don't need no card.
Yes.
It's like, let me chill if you want to, but
right.
Man, she those things, man, we just be wanting to just know, and it make me, even as an adult, man, appreciate my mother more and really get on myself when I be mama, and I'm like damn, this is something that you passed to me too. So like, regardless to like everybody on that path was part of that. Me, them knuckleheads I'm running behind, or whatever was going on, those things, like when it come down to just being a dad, those experiences, like if you consider yourself whatever you consider yourself, every single instance and experience had to happen for you to get to where you are. Now, if you ain't where you may not be hitting the points in other places. You might not have $1 million crib that you thought you was gonna have when you turned 21. But I think when you look in the mirror, that someone that you nurtured, someone that you gave your all. For me, for sure, like I don't know any commitment, like other than like music, and it's totally different. I'm not comparing my kid to music,
right?
But it's the only thing I've always done. I was telling Tommy, like, I had a kid as a teenager. Like, I've never only been responsible for me. Yeah. I went from being someone that was dependent on someone to someone depending on me instantly. Like, so what would y'all, like, in closing, because I know we could talk all day, and I want to, like, we could come back and do this again and make these, if you could talk to you when you had your your first kid or your only kid, whatever the case is, when they were in the womb, what would you tell yourself, knowing everything that you know now?
Ooh.
What advice? But what advice would you give yourself on getting through what you went through?
I would say this. Your first decision, right, as far as like when I found out my daughter was being born, I found out I was having a daughter, right? I was at my uncle's funeral in Brooklyn, and I got a call from her mom. You know, it's like 2 a.m. My sister was there. I was asleep and all that. I'm coming back around to this point, right? And when I found out that I was going to have a kid, I realized that it was no longer about me, right? Like you said earlier, it's not going to be about you. And I would tell myself then what I know now: trust your instincts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because reality of it is, you know, our parents, no matter how they raised us, they were kind of just going along with the program.
Right.
Too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were
Right.
learning too. You know, no one has a perfect way of raising children at all. Like there's no science, there's no like, okay, this is the right thing to do other than common sense shit. Right.
Right.
So
yeah, don't jump in the tub with the with the toaster.
I would say trust.
Don't do that.
Yeah. I would say, man, just still trust your instincts and pay attention a little bit more, because there's always things that, you know, we see in hindsight, right? Situations that happen in hindsight, you know, whether it's with our spouses or significant others during that time, or even with our child. Just do your best to pay attention to everything. Be more invested in the situation versus just kind of coasting with it, if that makes sense. You know, there's no, you know, Gandhi, you know, situation that I can think of other than, you know, just trust your gut, you know, trust your instincts and stay prayerful and all that, man. And just, I can't really think about anything other than just trusting my initial instinct and paying attention more. Like real talk, like keeping my, because when I think back, there are some things I missed, right? As far as just going through the process, whether it was, you know, with my daughter or, you know, everything else. So just pay attention more to what's going on. You know, just try to look at everything if you possibly can. If that makes sense.
Word.
What about you, Rennie?
If I was to tell my pre-child self, honestly, I would say take your ass to therapy.
Okay.
Take your ass to therapy and take some history classes, because you need to know who the fuck you are before you put that on a child.
Okay.
You need to know why you have the mind frame you have. Is that mind frame right? Do you have a hole that need to be fulfilled or fixed? Because if you don't, you're those missing links and all and the issues that you might have underlying, it's gonna come out raising that child. And you don't want to raise another you. You know, you always want better. You always want your kid to be better than you. Even if you're great, you want your child to be better than you. So you damn sure need to learn who you are. You literally need to learn who you are, because people have so much stuff that happened in their life and they just brush it off, not realizing that they reacting off of that shit every day. And like the other guy said, you got to break those cycles, and I think that's where it starts. So the second that you get that phone call, you know how the woman call you and she say, I got to talk to you about something. That always mean I'm pregnant. The second you find out, you need to start learning your history and doing therapy and learning who you are, where you come from, why you got the mind frame you have. And just some of this stuff need to be corrected. What cycles do you need to break? You know? Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
dope,
'Cause
yeah.
I was talking to I had a conversation with Tommy about this before. And I literally just had this conversation earlier where I was telling someone that I because of the nature of the relationship between my my daughter's mom and myself, the one thing that I really wish is that regardless to who was right or wrong, that I would have been more conscious of giving my kid having a better experience of what her and her mother and I interaction or relationship was. Um, Only because I could only imagine, um, you know, I can only I can imagine. I know about like them not being there, you know. Um, we never had we had our issues like any people have. I'm not saying because I definitely don't want to give it a narrative, that get my ass in trouble. Like what they call it, the faming character.
Oh, defamation of character.
Defamation of character.
Yeah.
But it was noticeable that her mom and I didn't always see eye to eye. So I was like, yo, man, if anything, though, that's something that I make myself aware of. Just like, listen, man, having a good relationship with this person is important, even when they wrong. Having a good don't mean you get along. You ever have somebody like you just don't rock with him. You don't like him, he don't like you, y'all don't talk. That's a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
now I'm not saying don't talk, because y'all gotta talk, y'all gotta communicate. But what I mean is you don't have to like nobody or have no you just gotta have a good relationship. So like that stood out. Because not having that for someone for however long, your kid you gotta deal with this person for the next 18 years at least. If you are angry at somebody for 18 years, you're gonna have hate in your heart. Like you're gonna have a disdain, maybe not hate, man, I don't want to use that kind of word, but you're gonna have a disdain. There is no way for you to be upset with someone for 18 years and it not do a bigger toll on you than it does on them.
Damn.
Think about who you
That's real.
Think about being in love. If you in love for 18 years, like that shit grow and grow and grow, or it slip and slip and slip. So if you didn't kept up the consistent feeling, man, but what I would, I just wanted to piggyback on that because I thought that was real dope. What you said, man, like that is like know yourself. Man, I would tell myself, man, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
About shit, like especially material. I remember being sad because I didn't have enough money for Christmas, and realizing like later that like I went to the like one of those pop-up toy stores to be on Gratiot or whatever, and bought a whole bunch of junk, you know, and she still liked it. And as I got older, I started instilling I started just to be more aware of myself, my people, my culture, history, and I was able to pass that stuff down to my kids. I would, like you said, educating and self-educating. understanding that I don't have to feel bad about myself because I can't get you the Christmas that I got in my mind.
Yeah.
Not being upset with myself because like me and my daughter then did like we done had to catch the bus in the middle of the winter from 8 Mile in Southfield to Plymouth and Evergreen.
Y'all caught the Southfield bus?
Man, yes, dog.
The slowest bus ever?
Ever, dog. We be outside at 6:30 in the morning by the mobile or whatever. We had to walk.
Man.
So I remember being on those bus rides, man, and feeling like down on myself and in some spaces embarrassed or feeling like I wasn't doing. And my daughter got to like, she didn't care. She thought we was doing something fun. She didn't know what the hell we was doing. And here I am, like sad the whole trip and not making the best of it. Like when you think of, go ahead.
That's what the general public does to you, though.
Yeah.
They make you feel like you're less than because you don't have A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and general public ain't got shit to do with you being a dad. She probably, I'm sure she like, man, I seen my dad go from us waiting in the wintertime on the bus to I'm seeing him in different countries on TV.
Yeah.
You know, like, and he just worked his way up. So, man, your journey is probably the absolute shit to her. I'm sure it is.
Man, I know that, and I know that, like, just one thing I want to say before we get out of here, I want everybody to say their piece. This is important. These type of platforms, I want to shout out Tommy, thank Tommy, because this was his brainchild. I want to thank you for reacting, not only to be a part of it, but also providing the backdrop and the flavor for it, man, because the piece you put together was great. I want anybody watching this, like I said, man, he's an awesome producer, writer, designer. He's just like he's a Renaissance man. I want to thank you for that, man, because, and I want to thank you for your involvement. When you say like, yo, you like to teach, I've never known you not to have people around you learning something.
Word.
That's never like you came to my house and showed me how to like chop samples, like you and a million other people till I got it. But like you came over my house. Like you could have been like, hey man, shit, man, come over here. But it was like, you know, you came over, man. We you've always been just someone. It ain't never been nothing. Like Tommy wanted to help me before I knew that we both had interests. And you know how you come up, man, and you me and Tommy didn't grow up together. We met each other as adults, okay?
Right.
And we clicked and we was cool, but you don't know what somebody into him, man. Tommy used to always just hit me up like, yo, man, just let me know, you know, man, what you need, man, how I can help you, man. Not even saying like I'm about to throw you some money or I'm about to help you save for this. It was just like, yo, man, just let me know, man, how I can help. And in my mind, I'm like, well, shit, man, I don't want to put I'm doing all this shit, man. I don't know. Like, I didn't understand it. Like, yo, this is a good brother. So it took for us to become like closer as friends, like, and to be able to have these kind of conversations. There's a lot of young men that because you're 20 and y'all running the streets, y'all trying to be tough, hard, y'all too busy, y'all whatever it is, or you just don't know. Y'all gotta have these conversations, and the last person you want to really listen to is when you turned up, somebody turning you up more. Like, yeah, like I'll call, like Tommy will call me, man. I'll let him vent for 20-30 minutes. He'll do the same for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, sometimes you just want to get it out, bro. It don't be it don't be like, I don't want you to just, yeah, man, fuck that motherfucker. Like, nah, man. Like, I just want to, I just want to, so these platforms are needed, man. I wanted to get a young guy in here, man, like a 19, 20-year-old, somebody like that, man, that we could
Man, I had some questions for him too.
Man, so let's do this. Let's brainstorm us three. I want to try to include Ron too, man. He gave us a very dope perspective.
For sure.
Yeah, he did.
Let's brainstorm on a way to with everybody's schedules, a way to make this happen for an hour or an hour and a half or two or something.
Right.
On a little schedule, man. Try to make this happen, man. I think we could do a whole lot. I think we could bridge a gap, and I think we could be very, very this is a great form of therapy amongst men.
Yeah.
Right? With that said, anybody got closing thoughts?
You can go.
You had it, man. It was coming out, so go for it, sir. Go for it.
If I was to give the most crucial parenting advice, and that's just not to dads, that's to all parents, is that no matter how old or how young your child is, they have feelings and an opinion. Even when you think or know that is wrong, that opinion is valid to them and should be considered. And the more they feel like it's not considered, the more you're asking your child to rebel. So you should always listen to them and reason with them. Now, sometimes you got to be like, no, but for the most part, you should always say, this is not somebody that works for me. This is somebody that has feelings. They think something, and I need to understand why they think that. And then you kind of handle it accordingly with a reason and not just a authoritative force. Makes better.
Word.
Yeah.
Tommy?
I mean, to piggyback on what you were saying, man, I think a situation like this, where men, even men of all backgrounds, right? I think this is needed. You know what I'm saying? It is a form of therapy to talk through and to share experiences, to compare and contrast, right?
Word.
You know, it's easy to say, hey, man, tell your kid this and this is what'll happen, versus, man, I tried this out. And my daughter or my son had this reaction to it. I think this is gonna do well, no matter how we figure how to put it out. It feels very organic. It doesn't feel forced, and I think just we can do something really, 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 really good here, man. We just gotta, that's really it, man. Like this is endless. It's like an endless amount of content, because we're raising our children, whether they're this this tall or they're this big or whatever the case is, man. Whatever age range they're at. I was having a conversation with mom. She was like, "You're always gonna be my son, no matter what, as long as I'm breathing, I'm always gonna be a father, no matter what, and we can share experiences and talk about this and that and get those things out, man, and get those emotions out to try to help each other understand ways of being better men for the long term, and then pass that knowledge on to others,
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Agreed. The village effect.
Oh man.
Man,
it's real. It's real.
We need that.
Village, bro. We got a village. So look, man, I want to sign out. Y'all can check us out. I'm sorry, man. My allergies are killing me. I don't know what happened.
Clarity, man.
Hey man, it's okay, man. It's okay
You
to
gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's okay to be vulnerable in this moment, brother. It's okay, man. You can.
Real
It's
man
okay.
cry, bro.
Yeah, man. It's all right. All right.
Hey, yo, listen. Make sure y'all check us out. Check us out online. We got isaidyopod.com. Take you right to the link. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure you hit up your guests. However you can, search Dean Beans on Facebook. Quest McCody. Look up Tommy Taylor on Facebook. So the name's right there. You can see him.
It's all over.
Yeah. And if you if you're on YouTube, you know what it is. BBG Media. Search I Said Yo Podcast. Search the Dadcast.
The Dadcast.
Instagram.
It's a great
all
name.
that. Look us out. Granddad Cast.
The Granddad.
Man, I'm about to get my granddad on this thing.
I'm granddad.
Oh, bang, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole nother week, man.
Oh,
We go. Hey, yo, that's gonna be the title of an episode. I'm a granddad. That's gonna be yours. All right, man. I'm about to stop the stream, but we hold up for 1 sec.